Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my channel? Thank you so much. After my first love passed away, it was Lucas, with his 8 years of unrequited love and 2 years of companionship, who helped me move on. But when we finally got together, he became unwilling. He had a reckless night with the woman who had a crush on him, and they had a child together. He pressured me to have an abortion. "As long as you accept that child, we'll be even," he said. "Grace, I just saw my former self in her. Do you see me as pitiful and humble too?" Lucas and I had another argument about the child. Early in the morning, I was tidying up documents in my study when Lucas, dressed and ready, suddenly spoke up. "When do you have some free time?" "What's going on?" I said. "You need to take a day off soon. We need to get the procedure done." My attention was on the contract, and I didn't immediately respond. "What procedure?" Lucas's gaze dropped to my stomach. I froze for a moment, holding the document. For a time we both fell silent. After a long while I turned to look at him. "Lucas, are you going to divorce me?" He paused, then quickly shook his head. "How could that be? Why would I want to divorce you? Then why do you insist that I terminate this pregnancy?" I couldn't understand. I had discovered I was pregnant about half a month ago. After working on 2 cases in a row, I fainted in the conference room. My boss was terrified, thinking I had a heart attack from overwork. But after a checkup, it turned out I was pregnant. It was good news. I was happy. I thought Lucas would be just as thrilled as I was, but after hearing the news, he went silent. That night, he tossed and turned, and for the next 3 days he seemed distracted. On the 4th day he said to me, "The timing isn't right. We can have another child later. Just let this one go." He wanted me to terminate the pregnancy, to get rid of the child in my womb. We had a huge fight and parted on bad terms. I moved out and stayed in a hotel for a week. During that week, I refused to see Lucas and rejected all his calls. Later, he came to find me looking dejected. "Grace, is it true that as long as I don't back down, you'll never look back at me?" Cruel. I had long since found it hard to be cruel to Lucas. I naturally followed him back home. The matter of the child was brushed aside between us. I thought once things settled down, I would find time to have a serious conversation with him. But before I could speak, he brought up the old matter again. My questioning made Lucas frown in annoyance. "Didn't I tell you the timing isn't right? Why do you insist on having this child now? We can have more later. This one isn't possible." Lucas's every word felt like a heavy stone pressing down on my heart. I let out a long sigh. During that week in the hotel, I thought of many possibilities. Your company had problems, you had health issues. I even took your health report to make an appointment with a specialist. "Lucas, I don't understand. We are legally married. We have no emotional issues. I'm pregnant, and isn't it natural for us to have this child? The timing isn't right." Excuse doesn't convince me. Lucas fell silent again. Just when I thought this conversation was going to end without resolution, he said, "I'll take you to meet someone." We didn't speak during the drive. I was somewhat angry. I knew Lucas was definitely hiding something from me. He didn't want to tell me, but this secret related to why he didn't want our child. Now he was probably going to reveal this secret to me. I thought that no matter the reason, I was genuinely angry this time. He had hurt my feelings. I wouldn't forgive him so easily, but at the same time, regardless of the reason, he was my lover, and I would accompany him through this. I truly believed that I was ready to stand by him through thick and thin, but only later did I realize how ridiculous I was. The car drove across most of the city and finally stopped. I followed the direction of Lucas's finger. It was a flower shop. The shop owner was wearing a loose long dress, smiling as she sent a customer out of the store. Once the customer was out of sight, she pressed her tired back. She was pregnant with a noticeable belly, looking like she was about to give birth. "Do you know her?" I hesitated and shook my head. She looked somewhat familiar, but I couldn't recall. "Think again." I frowned and looked at Lucas. "Who is she and what does she have to do with us?" Lucas looked off into the distance, his expression indifferent. "Sophia, our high school classmate." I thought for a long time and finally dug up the memory of this person. During our 3 years of high school, there was a very special girl, a short-haired flamboyant girl who played the pipa. She participated in the school's annual arts performances every year. I had a blurry recollection of her appearance, but the way she played the pipa as if intoxicated on the battlefield remained fresh in my memory. I still remembered she did something outrageous, publicly confessing her feelings for Lucas at the broadcasting station. I suddenly turned to look at Lucas. She liked you. Lucas didn't deny it. I thought it was just a youthful impulse, but when I met her again a year ago, she told me that she still liked him. My breath stopped for 2 seconds, and my hand slowly tightened on my knee. What do you want to say? Lucas met my gaze. 13 years. I've liked you for 13 years and she has liked me for 13 years. Do you know? I saw my own reflection in her. Humble and pitiful. So what? Lucas sneered. Sometimes I can't help but wonder if you like me. Whether you like me more or... Lucas didn't say that name, but we both knew he meant Fong, my first love. He died of heart disease. Lucas used his 8 years of unrequited love and 2 years of companionship to help me lower my defenses. I thought he understood me completely, but now, after 3 years of marriage, he was still fixated on this issue. Lucas, what are you really trying to say? The sadness on his face faded, and he looked at me expressionlessly. I don't care anymore. Even if you can never let go of him in your heart, even if I'm always behind him. Grace, as long as you accept the child in Sophia's belly, we'll be even and we can start anew. What are you saying? For a moment I doubted my own hearing. The child in Sophia's belly is yours, Lucas. Are you telling me that you cheated on me? I didn't. Lucas rubbed his forehead wearily. I just gave her a child. My face went cold and I got out of the car, slamming the door. As I tried to leave Grace, Lucas chased after me, gripping my hand tightly. I know you can't accept it right now. You can think about it. I just hope we can be together on more equal terms instead of me always backing down. My muscles tensed, my teeth clenched, and I spoke each word deliberately. Let go of me, Lucas. You really disgust me. Lucas suddenly loosened his grip. What did you say? I said you disgust me. He suddenly laughed. Disgusting? You think I'm disgusting? So you're just like those others, thinking I'm a simp beside you, right? I fawned over you for 10 years. You finally pity me and married me. But even now you haven't let go of that person in your heart. Do you know I'm a joke in everyone's eyes? Lucas's emotions became increasingly agitated, but my heart grew colder. When Fu died, Lucas was by my side. He told me he had a crush on me for 8 years, from entering high school until now. For 8 years I've only liked you. I rejected him, unwilling to use him to heal my own pain. He said it was okay. It doesn't matter if you don't like me, just let me be by your side. Otherwise I won't feel at ease. Later I accepted him. He was so excited he almost cried. It doesn't matter if you don't like me that much. Now we have a lifetime together, and I believe we'll always be together. Everything seemed to be going as he wished, but I didn't know when he started to harbor so much resentment and grievance. The past tenderness and love had become indistinguishable. It sent a chill down my spine. Lucas, is that you? Are you here to see me? Sophia's voice suddenly appeared. She dragged her heavy body across the road, jogging towards us. Lucas frowned and released me. He stepped forward and supported Sophia. What's the rush? Take it slow. Sophia stuck out her tongue, looking happy as she held on to Lucas's arm. I just wanted to see you quickly. Why didn't you call me when you came over? If I hadn't seen you, Sophia, I brought Grace to see you. The smile on Sophia's face froze. She hurriedly released Lucas's hand and looked at me in a bit of a panic. Grace, long time no see. The scene before me was absurd. I didn't want to stay even for a second, but Sophia hurriedly stepped forward, wanting to grab me. I quickly took a step back. Don't touch me. If something happens, whose fault will it be? Lucas came over, standing between us. He spoke to me in a calm tone. I know you're not that kind of person. I let out a sneer and nodded. I always thought you knew that. Lucas paused, about to say something, but was interrupted by Sophia. She turned pale and deeply bowed to me. Grace, it's all my fault. I only wanted to keep this child and didn't mean to disturb you, but my body has problems. I might not be able to see this child grow up, but don't worry. Once I have the baby, I will leave and won't affect you. Lucas also looked at me. Take your time to think it over. There's no rush for a reply. No need. I looked back at him. I can give you my answer right now, Lucas. I will terminate the pregnancy, then we'll get a divorce. Olivia probably didn't expect this. The first major thing she would do after her divorce was to accompany me for my abortion. I moved out of my house. First, Lucas disagreed. My request for a divorce made him furious. He almost destroyed half the house. Grace, how can you say those two words so easily after all these years? What do I mean to you? You can't understand. Of course you can't understand. I've always been following you. Have you ever looked back at me? She waited for me for 13 years, just wanting a thought I couldn't refuse. When I see her, it's like seeing myself. Do you think I really want that child, Grace? I just wanted you to prove to me that you love me. I stared at Lucas for a long time, growing increasingly unfamiliar with him, finding him more and more detestable. No need to prove it. Just act as if I never loved you, I said sarcastically to Olivia. When you divorced William, I thought he was a terrible person, but now I realize he's at least more straightforward than Lucas. He admitted he was wrong without excuses and divorced you without hesitation. But what about Lucas? In the days that followed, I repeatedly pondered his words. I momentarily slipped into his mindset and thought he might have a point. He had sacrificed a lot for me over the years. His kindness was evident to everyone. Even his mother couldn't help but joke. My son is like a surrogate for you. If he could just share some of his kindness with me, I'd be thrilled. Many people envied me, saying that it was hard-earned for Lucas and me to end up together. So I was supposed to cherish it, was I not? Was I not doing enough? Did I make some mistake? Why did Lucas harbor so much resentment and dissatisfaction? Olivia held my hand disapprovingly. Right is right and wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter who's at fault. If he insists it's because of you, that's his problem. I smiled bitterly and lowered my head. Since I started my career, I've handled nearly 100 divorce cases, if not more than 80. I always managed to rationally comfort others. I could always precisely analyze the true motivations behind a person's behavior. I advised women not to be victims of emotional manipulation. I prided myself on having seen so many people, believing I could remain unshaken regardless of the situation. But when it happened to me, I found out that I was just a common person lost in the situation. When I was pushed out of the operating room, there were quite a few people outside. Olivia stood there with her back to me, blocking William and Lucas. When she saw me, Lucas's gaze was flustered, and his smile seemed forced. Grace, I'm here to take you home. Olivia turned slightly to block him. Lucas, are you walking out by yourself? Or do I need to get someone to escort you? William should know that my connections are quite diverse. Olivia, don't call me sister, she said. It really is true that birds of a feather flock together. In the end, Lucas was pulled away by William. Before he left, he fixed his gaze on me. The divorce isn't up to you. I remained silent, curling up on the hospital bed while my lower abdomen felt hollow, even a bit cold. Waves of bloating pain were jabbing at my nerves. This wasn't intense pain, but it made me shiver. I could only desperately curl up under the blanket. I hadn't even had the chance to fully feel the arrival of this child before I took it away with my own hands. But this was the best choice for me. I could never let an unformed child burden my life for the sake of so-called maternal love for him. What right did he have to become the bitter fruit of my and Lucas's failed marriage? This was the most rational decision, but that didn't mean I wasn't sad. I thought, let me be weak for one more night. By the time the sun rises tomorrow morning, I will still be the invincible Grace. Olivia took me back to her home, saying she would take care of me herself. She asked what I planned to do. Divorce, but first I need to figure out the truth of the matter. I didn't trust a single punctuation mark in what Lucas said. I had my own channels for investigating such matters, but really, I just needed to clarify one thing. Was Sophia artificially inseminated? I found someone to help me check the hospital records. That afternoon, he gave me the answer. Sophia was naturally conceived. Lucas's lies fell apart. He had indeed cheated. I had mentally prepared myself for this answer. I thought it wouldn't affect me at all, but when I got out of bed to get some water, my legs gave out and I fell onto the mat. What's wrong? Are you okay? I smiled bitterly and shook my head. When I saw those women whose husbands had betrayed them, I always looked at them coldly as they went crazy, cried, and became hysterical. I thought I could handle it better than they did. Olivia hugged me, patting my back gently. Feel free to cry if you want. What's the big deal? Isn't it only natural to be sad when you're hurt? I don't know if it was Olivia's words, her actions, or the warmth she conveyed to me at that moment, but the emotions I had suppressed for many days finally exploded. Tears streamed down my face, and my voice shifted from the initial sobs to wails. I cried so hard that I trembled, curling up on the floor until I finally passed out. What do you plan to do next? Wait. Wait for what? Wait for Sophia's child to be born. This child would affect how I would approach my divorce case. I couldn't find any evidence of Lucas's infidelity. He had concealed everything from me for almost a year, and now it would be even harder to investigate. But that was okay. As long as I had a paternity test, I could confirm his betrayal. However, as a matter of procedure, I still needed to ask Lucas first. Do you agree to privately mediate the divorce? This was the first time I saw Lucas after staying at Olivia's house for a week. He looked a bit dazed, as if he hadn't clearly understood my question. Staring blankly at me, he said, "You're lying to me, aren't you?" "Lying about what? You didn't really have the abortion?" "You're lying to me." Lucas's words made my heart skip a beat. "Is it necessary? Do you need the doctor to perform the surgery in front of you for you to believe it? Or do you want me to go into the operating room again? In your heart, did he break the rules, or am I the one who is terribly wrong?" My words gradually brought a look of pain to Lucas's face. "So you just so easily aborted our child? No arguments, no fights, no tears? And you didn't even tell me? Grace, you're truly heartless. If you were carrying Fu's child, would you have done the same?" His words instantly filled me with rage, but my professional sensitivity made me grasp the implication behind his words. In the next moment, "Lucas, are you regretting it? Did you force me to abort the child and now you regret it?" Lucas suddenly stood up, his face pale with fear. "I will not divorce you, Grace." It seemed that the path of private mediation wouldn't work. Since that was the case, there was no need to waste time. I stayed at Olivia's house for half a month, and after my checkup at the hospital showed no problems, I returned to work. I initially intended to move out, but she wouldn't let me, saying that it was better to have company. Let's consider ourselves divorce buddies, helping each other through this tough time. I thought about it and found it a good idea, so I agreed. I moved my things out of Lucas's place. He wasn't supposed to be there that day, but suddenly he returned, remaining silent throughout. He stood there with a cold expression while I busied myself, and in the end he just left. Olivia didn't understand. What does he mean? I chuckled lightly. He wants to reconcile but refuses to back down. Since I haven't progressed with the divorce, he thinks I'm just playing games with him. In times like this, one must endure. Whoever backs down first loses. He might even feel a bit aggrieved. That's probably his psychological state. When Lucas took me to see Sophia, she was already in her 30th week of pregnancy. With this time passed, there were less than 40 days until her due date. Lucas and I hadn't contacted each other since then. However, his mother called me. Out of respect for my elders, I answered. She began with a few casual remarks about Lucas's faults, and then shifted the conversation to reconciliation. Actually, that girl is quite pitiful. Due to health reasons, if she aborts the child, she may never conceive again. We're all women. You should understand. Honestly, I envied Lucas. Although his parents were also divorced, his mother truly cherished him. Regardless of who was right or wrong, she defended him without limits. Unlike me, after my parents divorced, neither of them wanted to deal with me. I said in a calm tone, "I understand, of course. So please persuade Lucas a bit more. If he divorces me, you'll not only have a legitimate grandson but also gain a new daughter-in-law for free." "Why not?" Lucas's mother fell silent. I thought she must have taken my words to heart, but unfortunately, she didn't manage to persuade Lucas. Until the day Sophia gave birth, he never appeared before me. Sophia went into labor 2 days earlier than her due date. She was sent to the hospital in the morning, and by 7:20 p.m., she had delivered a healthy baby boy. Almost the entire Lucas family showed up when I arrived. The scene was quite warm. Lucas held the baby, looking half tender, half sorrowful. Sophia lay on the hospital bed, her eyes filled with joy. If it weren't for my presence, it would have been such a happy family of 3. Lucas's mother was the first to notice me. She looked a bit awkward. Grace, you're here. Come quickly to see the baby. He's going to call you Mom in the future. I couldn't help but chuckle. I'll have to decline. Lucas looked a bit stunned. He took a couple of steps forward while holding the baby, then retreated to put the child down. You're here. Yes, I need your cooperation on something, I said, pointing to the staff behind me who were in uniforms. We need to do a paternity test for you and the baby. Please cooperate. The expression on Lucas's face faded, and his gaze turned heavy as he looked at me. Suddenly, Sophia burst out emotionally. No, I don't agree. The baby has just been born. He's so small. How can you bear to? I tilted my head, amused as I looked at her. Do you know they need to take heal blood from the baby after he's born? It's a standard procedure, not some extreme measure. You don't need to put on this act of overflowing maternal love. Sophia cast a helpless look at Lucas. Lucas stepped in front of her. She doesn't want to. Oh, it doesn't matter. She doesn't need to agree. She just needs to cooperate, including you. I'm following the proper procedures. You should have received the court summons too, right? Lucas's face turned completely cold. What do you want to do? Isn't it obvious? Gather evidence and get a divorce. After a standoff, Lucas suddenly smiled. Sure, let's do it. His reaction gave me a bad feeling, and half a month later my apprehensions were confirmed. The paternity test results showed that Lucas and Sophia's child had no biological relationship. This feeling was terrible. I had waited so long for a fatal blow, only to find that I had been backstabbed. I rushed to Lucas's company and slammed the test results in front of him. He didn't dodge or flinch, remaining remarkably calm as if he had been waiting for me. Why the rush? I'll tell you everything you want to know, Grace. We need to talk. Lucas then explained everything to me. At last year's reunion, Sophia, after getting drunk, confessed her feelings for Lucas over the years. Lucas said that out of sympathy, he added Sophia's contact information. From that moment on, Sophia frequently reached out. Later on her birthday, she wanted him to come celebrate with her. Lucas went. They drank a lot, especially Sophia, who was clearly intoxicated. To buy Sophia some hangover medicine, Lucas left for a while. It was during that brief moment that Sophia was taken away. When Lucas found her, it was at a hotel. She was disheveled and in a terrible state. She thought it was me. She was very happy I accepted it. Later, she got pregnant and wanted to keep the baby. I couldn't tell her, so I just went along with it. Adopting her child was my way of making it up to her. Grace, if we had our own child, we wouldn't be able to treat him like our own, at least not right now. What could I say? One thing after another, I could only say this is ridiculous. Lucas blocked my path. Don't you have anything else to say? I thought for a moment. 2 days from now we have our divorce hearing. Be there on time. Lucas's face darkened. I've told you the truth. What else do you want? I opened my mouth and then closed it again, finally clicking my tongue in frustration. How did I not realize that your thought process is so different from normal? Lucas, I'm not someone who can be led around by the nose just because you say a couple of words. What does it matter if you didn't cheat? Whether you want to play the saint or redeem yourself, that's your own business. Don't drag me into it. Lucas's gaze toward me gradually turned to disappointment. I didn't expect you to say such things. Ha! I scoffed. What kind of things? Heartless? Indifferent? But when you unilaterally dragged me into your mess, did you ever consider my feelings? I can't know the cause, but I have to bear the consequences. Being your wife truly feels like I've run into a streak of bad luck. So what you mind is that I didn't tell you, right? I shook my head coldly. Lucas, think about it. Our divorce case went to court as scheduled. Lucas did not miss the hearing, but his stance was very clear. He did not want a divorce. Because his attitude was firm, our side couldn't provide clear evidence of the breakdown of our relationship. The court ruled against the divorce. As I walked out of the court, Lucas stopped me. He looked at me helplessly, as if he were looking at a rebellious, spoiled child. Grace, I was wrong this time. I won't hide anything from you in the future. Let's forget this incident and start anew. Okay? I felt helpless too. Lucas, I'll say it again. I'm not someone who can be led around just because you say a few words. As I spoke, I took out my phone and opened that photo, placing it in front of him. The calm expression on Lucas's face shattered instantly. Who gave you this? Who else could it be? I smiled faintly. The photo even has a timestamp. It turns out you both jumped into bed the day after your reunion. How eager. Lucas averted his gaze, his hands clenched tightly by his sides. I can explain. It was a misunderstanding. We were both drunk. It was only that one time. Once? Once again. How many lies do you still have, Lucas? But it doesn't matter anymore. Do you know why I have evidence of your infidelity but haven't revealed it? Lucas fell silent. I said, because even if I show this photo, it won't change anything for the first trial. I'm already prepared for the fact that we won't get divorced. Lucas remained tense, repeating the same words. I won't divorce you, Grace. The saddest thing for me is that in my professional field, I can't get you to walk away empty-handed. Lucas growled. I won't divorce you. I stopped in my tracks, not turning back. Oh really? No rush, take your time. The day after I finished the divorce case with Lucas, I applied for an assignment from the firm. A week later, I received a positive response. When Olivia helped me pack, she felt a bit sentimental. Wow, this is so sudden. I smiled. In fact, my department had already informed me about this opportunity, but I declined it at that time. I thought being apart would affect our relationship, but honestly, this was a great opportunity for me. Double the salary and increased experience. I hadn't told many people about going abroad, but Lucas found out. I saw him at the airport after a few days apart. His aura was increasingly gloomy, and he seemed tense. He asked me, why are you going abroad? Aren't you going to divorce me? I told you there's no rush. Do you have anything else to say? If not, please step aside. I still need to catch my flight. Lucas moved closer to me. Do you really hate me that much you'd rather go abroad to avoid me? I took a step back. If you think that way, there's nothing I can do. Grace. Lucas yelled. Do you really have to talk to me like this? Lucas, you're wasting my time. I tried to walk past him, but he grabbed my arm. You can't leave. I glanced back at him coldly. Do you want me to call security? Or do you need me to call the police? I broke free from him and moved forward. He shouted urgently. I was wrong, Grace. I was wrong. Don't go. I kept walking. He grabbed me again, his tone pleading. Let's talk, Grace. Let's talk. I thought that since we had come this far, it would be good to clarify some things. Even if it didn't clear anything up, talking about our feelings wouldn't hurt. But where should we start? Lucas took the lead. Did we really have to come to this? I looked at him and replied, what else would you suggest? Grace, I've liked you for 8 years. That's 8 years, not 8 days. Are you really so heartless? Lucas, the 8 years you speak of, I'm willing to acknowledge them as a bonus if I want to. If I don't want to acknowledge them, what does it have to do with me? Those were your 8 years. I neither knew nor benefited from them, so why should I bear the burden? Lucas was stunned by my words. After a long pause, he finally spoke. Is that really how you think? So all these years it was just me being self-indulgent? Grace, do you really think our situation is entirely my fault? Don't you share any blame? If it weren't for you, why would I have given up that child? Because of me? Lucas, are you saying you cheated and now you suspect me of cheating too? Lucas looked at me with a stern face. He said, the day you fainted and were hospitalized, I went to the hospital. I didn't understand. Then Lucas paused for a moment and laughed sarcastically. Do you really need me to be that clear? I lost my patience and stood up to leave. Wait, he called out to me. He said, I heard you on the phone with Olivia. Olivia. I remembered that day. Olivia had called me, and I shared the good news with her. What did I say? I said, I'm pregnant. I'm so happy. I've always wanted to have a home. A complete home of my own. I want to have a child with him. One that looks half like him and half like me. He even had a name for a boy. But what if it's a girl? Grace, I know you've never forgotten about Fong, but even if you're pregnant with my child, your thoughts are still on him. How can you expect me to bear that? I'm thinking of him? Where did you get that conclusion? His photo. You were stroking his photo while talking to Olivia. I took out my ID holder, opened it, and revealed an old ID photo inside. Is this the one you're talking about? Lucas's gaze froze. He suddenly stood up, knocking over the chair behind him with a loud crash. How is that possible? He looked at me half lost and half helpless. Why? This can't be. When did this happen? How is it possible? I slowly stood up, pulled out the photo, and placed it on the table. When you first took me back to your house, I saw your student ID and took out the photo. In fact, even earlier when I agreed to be with you, I had already taken out Feng's photo. And about the child's name, that was something you mentioned the night you proposed to me, but you've forgotten. Grace. Lucas was shaking. He held my hand tightly, his voice choked. What have I done? What did I do? Our child. I pushed him away. Do you need me to comfort you? He stared blankly at me. I said calmly, my comfort is that even without this misunderstanding, our ultimate outcome would still lead to an end because you don't trust me. You can't see the present or the future, only the past. So I thank you for helping me see reality clearly and end this mistake. Lucas, goodbye. I walked away decisively, but I felt very sad. I once loved someone sincerely, but he didn't trust me. I worked hard, desperately trying to love him, wanting to make up for those 8 years I owed him. But he was oblivious, resenting and hating me. So what have I been doing these past 5 years? A sense of powerlessness and frustration overwhelmed me. It felt as if someone had a grip on my throat. I was suffocating, lost and helpless. Grace, oh Grace, you're truly a mess. I spent a year abroad. During that year, I chose to further my studies alongside work. Studying and working filled up all my time. I was busy, but I also felt fulfilled. I didn't have time to overthink. By the time I remembered, I had already found peace. I kept in touch with Olivia often. She said Lucas always tried to corner her, wanting to know my address. After Olivia refused him a few times, she got annoyed and reported him to the police. Why then did he stop? Lucas couldn't find out where I was, but he always managed to find my contact information. He had called me countless times. Sometimes I wasn't paying attention and picked up a few calls, but as soon as I heard his voice, I hung up. He didn't actually adopt that child, but he's taking care of the mother and child, paying child support and helping to run a store. I heard they're even planning a first birthday party. His mother wants to make it a big deal, but Lucas didn't agree. What kind of situation is this? They're not even divorced and he's causing all this trouble. Doesn't he worry about losing face? How do you know all this? William told me. I was a bit surprised. Are you still in touch with him? Mentioning this made Olivia a bit agitated. I'm about at my breaking point. I'm planning to find a few people to beat him up. He's really annoying. William probably wanted to win Olivia back. Men seem to be like that, they can easily turn the page. It's as if saying I'm sorry means they should be forgiven, and bringing up past events is just a way of blaming you. But they don't understand that some wounds can't heal. When are you coming back? The flight is on Wednesday. Okay, I'll pick you up. The day I returned to the country, it was cloudy and slightly cold. Olivia was very thoughtful and brought me a jacket. William was there too, facing Olivia's cold expression. He hesitated to speak, eventually saying to me, Lucas was supposed to come, but something came up last minute. The child got sick, and he went to the hospital with them. Didn't he? William looked shocked. How did you know? Sophia told me. She bet with me that Lucas wouldn't come to pick me up today. William tried to explain, but I interrupted him again and gave him my new number. It's fine. Just have him contact me when he's free. This time I stayed at Olivia's house again. Everything was just the way it was. This sudden warmth felt particularly strange. I didn't even experience jet lag and slept really well. Lucas contacted me the next morning around 10 or so. He called me. Are you awake? I didn't want to disturb your sleep, so I was waiting. His voice was cautious and careful. I pretended not to notice and said directly, I just wanted to tell you that our divorce case will have its second hearing in a week. Remember to show up. Lucas fell silent. I hung up the phone. The next second he called again. This time his tone was urgent. Grace, it's been a year. I've been looking for you, trying to contact you for a year. But the first thing you say when you just come back is about divorce. Why am I really that unforgivable? Aren't you willing to give me a little chance? What do you want from me? Even if I had to kneel and beg, You should at least come out to see me first. Grace, you can't deny me even a chance to argue. Lucas, do you know why it's been a year? He didn't know. You say I ran away because of you, but the truth is I was avoiding you. A year, do you know what that time means? Since the first hearing we've been separated. Separated for a year. And that's the most favorable evidence of relationship breakdown in the second hearing. Whether you agree or not, we will divorce. It's actually quite sad. In my professional field, I spent a year and a half getting divorced from my cheating husband. Time isn't the key. It's that this time can be very torturous. It torments the heart, grinds down the will, creates anxiety, leads to breakdowns, and in the end, one can't help but retreat and give up, saying, "Forget it. Let's just make do." These are things I've witnessed over the years. Of course, there are quicker ways like provoking domestic violence, infidelity, or crime, but that's like walking a tightrope. In the end, even if he falls, can I truly remain intact? It's too difficult. So I understood that to handle this matter more simply, I needed to be clear about my goals. A year is a year. I can afford to wait, and I must wait. On the day the second ruling was issued, Lucas and I didn't even have to wait for a month of the divorce cooling-off period. We ended our marriage directly. The weight on my heart finally disappeared. The feeling of relief was delightful. In contrast, Lucas seemed to have lost his spirit all at once. His gaze toward me was complicated, seeming to mix hatred and resentment. He said, "Grace, you're really ruthless. This year I thought I could turn things around, but you've already sentenced me to death. It turns out you've been plotting against me all along." I nodded in agreement. "Then you can consider it my scheme. Today I'm in a good mood and don't want to argue, so whatever you say goes." I didn't expect Lucas to suddenly awaken, crying and feeling hopeless. People like that are too few, most are filled with resentment and hatred. That's called reality. After handling everything, I went abroad again. I returned 6 months later, promoted and with a raise. During my second time abroad, Lucas sent me an email with just 3 words. "I'm sorry." I replied, "Since the wrongs have already been done, there's no need to say you're sorry." Epilogue. Lucas never thought Grace would choose to terminate the pregnancy. When he learned about it, he began to feel a sense of regret, but he suppressed it. He didn't dare to confront it. His child, his own flesh and blood, was killed because of his coercion. If he regretted it, he would go crazy. William had asked him, "How dare you take Grace to meet Sophia?" Lucas didn't dare. He had always kept his relationship with Sophia a secret. He didn't dare to meet Sophia frequently or to contact her proactively. Even every time he returned home, he would block Sophia beforehand. Grace wouldn't tolerate any sand in her eyes. If she found out, they would be done for. However, when Lucas unexpectedly heard those words, he lost his rationality. For so many years, Fu had been his nightmare. He had always lived in Fu's shadow, always comparing who did Grace love more, him or Fu. So he proposed that Grace have an abortion and took her to meet Sophia. Ultimately, Grace proved to him that she loved him. Lucas more Lucas. Deviously, he thought about what kind of outcome he hoped to achieve. Perhaps he wanted Grace to lose her composure, to break down, to roar, to be hysterical. Lucas didn't like Sophia, but he enjoyed Sophia's admiration and affection for him. He thought if Grace knew about Sophia's existence, would she panic? Would she fear losing him? People only learn to cherish what they have after losing it. He needed to give Grace a sense of crisis. By the time Grace regretted it, he would tell her the truth and forgive her for thinking about leaving. That was the outcome Lucas wanted, but Grace didn't cry or make a scene. She aborted the baby and filed for divorce in an instant. Lucas fell from heaven to hell, feeling cold all over. William asked him, "What are you trying to accomplish with all this?" Lucas replied, "To prove that Grace loves me." "Have you ever thought about what gives you the confidence to do this?" Lucas was stunned. What was his confidence? Was it that Grace loved him? In fact, there were many things Lucas didn't dare to think deeply about. Every time he did, he would wake up startled from his dreams. So he began to shift the blame. Grace was at fault, Sophia was at fault, even his mother was at fault. But he, Lucas, was not at fault. He was merely making what he thought was the best decision at the time. Even if given another chance, he would still do the same. He stubbornly supported Sophia and that child. It was as if only in this way could he prove that he was right. But Sophia was not satisfied. She wanted more money or to marry Lucas. Lucas thought Sophia was crazy. He didn't like Sophia, so why would he want to marry her? The thought made Lucas's scalp tingle. So Grace was with him because he couldn't think about it. He didn't dare to think. Lucas desperately suppressed his feelings until he tasted the rust in his mouth. The twisted relationship between Lucas and Sophia didn't last long. It soon collapsed. The cause was that Sophia abandoned the child with his mother and ran off with another man. Lucas put in a lot of effort to find her. He questioned Sophia. "Why did you do that?" Sophia scoffed. "Didn't you say you would take care of the child? Here he is. I don't want him anymore. That's your child. But if it weren't for you, I would never have given birth to him." Sophia took a drag on her cigarette, looking at Lucas with disdain. "You men are really strange. When you had a wife, you were all sweet to me. Now that your wife is gone, you're trying to act like a decent man. What's the matter? Is stealing more appealing?" Lucas felt embarrassed. "What nonsense are you talking about? I just feel sorry for you." "Feel sorry for me? For what? It's you who said you liked me for 13 years. Sophia's expression turned incredulous. "Are you crazy? Did you lie to me? Do you even understand what sweet talk is? I say it and you believe it. We haven't even met in person for all these years. Did I rely on sheer will to like you for 13 years? Oh right, I heard you had a crush on Grace for 8 years. It's that while telling lies you ended up believing them yourself," Lucas growled. "I'm not like you." Sophia let out a cold snort. "You can fool her, but you can't fool me. What have you done during those so-called 8 years of secretly liking her? You dated plenty of people and had numerous girlfriends. When she was single, you seized the chance and realized you still liked her the most. Then you pulled out that so-called 8 years to give yourself a bargaining chip. And in the end, you genuinely made yourself sound wronged." Sophia mercilessly tore away Lucas's fig leaf. This made Lucas completely enraged, and he slapped her. Sophia wasn't easy to bully, especially with that man who ran away with her. Lucas got beaten badly. He slumped to the ground, gasping for breath, trembling as he took out his phone, hesitating over Grace's name for a long time before finally sending her 3 words. "I'm sorry." He didn't expect Grace to reply, but she did. Since the wrongs have already been done, there's no need to say you're sorry. Lucas laughed out loud, and as he laughed he started to cry. The child that Grace abandoned, Lucas ultimately decided to take good care of. But his mother was unwilling because she finally realized that this wasn't her biological grandson. But whether Lucas was trying to make amends or seeking atonement, he was stubbornly persistent. His mother ended up being hospitalized due to anger. William's family was wealthy. He said he wouldn't do it anymore and left Lucas with a pile of mess. One thing after another at home and many issues at the company. Lucas became increasingly exhausted. He had to do more and more but earned less and less. Sometimes he wondered how he ended up living like this. He knew Grace had returned to the country, been promoted, and was getting more and more successful, but he never dared to show up in front of Grace. Later, he ran into her once at a hotel. She was chatting and laughing lightly at the dining table. He, on the other hand, was bowing and scraping like a dog. Lucas looked at himself in the mirror. He really looked like a dog.